I'm not going to give you a really black and white answer to that question because I'm not really yes or no, but I'm mostly no. Here's why. Our pelvic floor is a group of muscles that works with all the other muscles in our body. So it usually sees what's going on and it responds accordingly. When we're doing something that requires a lot of our strength and for the pelvic floor to lift and close, then it should respond to that. If we're doing something that requires relaxation and for it to let go or open the holes, then it should respond accordingly there. Anytime you injure any muscle in your body, it can take a while for that muscle to be able to do its jobs effectively again, and the pelvic floor is no different. Anytime we injure our pelvic floor, pregnancy and child delivery are some of the biggest reasons that that happens. It doesn't necessarily do its jobs again for a while, and maybe it's not as effective, or maybe it's slow to respond. And in order to get it back on track again, sometimes we need to give it some focused attention for a while. This is the time where we need to take the brain and say, brain, listen, there's a problem and I need you to pay attention to that. This is the pelvic floor and it's having a problem. Here's what I need you to do. And so that's when I say yes to kegels regularly. A kegel is just tightening the pelvic floor. You also need to be able to relax it, but I always start my clients with symptoms on working just through movement of the pelvic floor and recognizing what that feels like. And that usually means more than just once a week. Their brain needs to be reminded of that constantly so that those pelvic floor muscles are very sure of what it feels like to tighten and relax. But I'm going to start to shift towards the no, I don't want you to do kegels every day side, because you need to start making it part of your everyday life again. Just laying down on the ground or sitting in the car doing tighten and relax isn't necessarily going to hit the problem, because that's not probably when you're having your symptoms. It's when you're doing something harder, like jumping, sneezing, coughing, running. You need to start making the pelvic floor move how it's supposed to as part of your everyday life and in coordination with your other muscles. All right, let's come full circle to tie this all together. If your pelvic floor is having some problems, meaning maybe you're peeing your pants, maybe you can't hold back farts, maybe you can't get back to exercise after you've had a baby, maybe you have a lot of pressure going on down here, your pelvic floor is not quite happy. So spend some focused time working just on tightening and relaxing the pelvic floor, and make sure that you know how to do that properly. That is a big deal. Don't stop there. Don't just do this for the rest of your life. Find out then, after you've given it some focused time, what's still going on. Do I still feel like I'm having some problems, and when are they happening? Because then what needs to happen is, what am I doing in my day? What is my pelvic floor doing when I lift my baby, or when I do a squat, or when I go for a run? And really pay attention to that. And the pelvic floor needs to start fitting into that. And after that, it becomes a maintenance thing. If I feel good and I can do everything I want without those symptoms, I probably don't need to think about it so much, because that's what the muscles are there for, is to be there hovering in the background. But if you do still have some symptoms, figure out how that fits into your life. Do I need to think about this before I run? Do I need to think of it before I lift weights? Maybe when I'm lifting the heavy weights, I need to think about it a little bit more. Ladies, this is going to look like a different calendar for each and every one of you, and don't be surprised if you can't figure this out on your own. That is what pelvic health physical therapists are for. This is the stuff that we work on day in and day out, and we're here to help you get back to your favorite activities without all of these embarrassing symptoms. So find one in your area.